Welcome to Comics in the Making. My name is Ryan Holgerson. I'm the creator of Slackmatic, and I'm joined, as always, by Levi Erickson, the creator of The Big. Levi, how you doing?
Hey, greetings from the interrogation room. I feel like I have all these just for some reason in the studio, just lights beaming all over me. I feel like I need to confess.
You think?
I feel
What have
like
you done?
I did it. I did it all, and I'll do it again. See?
uh,
Anyways, yeah, no, it's shit. That first day of fall, that first nice brisk crisp day of fall, in contrast to the humidity of summer is always refreshing. Do you find that is the case today? April 21st.
no, dude. So I was watching our last episode that just dropped today,
Mhm.
April 21st. And I was talking about that crazy hailstorm.
Yeah.
And we had another one yesterday.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There was a
round
lot of
us.
thunderstorms. Yeah, we didn't get it that bad.
Yeah.
And for the viewers at home, just so you get a sense, if you look at the map of Charlotte, you're going to see sort of like a tilted shield shape with the 485, or no, the 277, 74 going around the main part of the city, and then you have the 45 as a loop around the whole thing for the greater Mecklenburg kind of area. So if that's a clock, where I live, Mint Hill, North Carolina, would be sort of around 4 or 5 o'clock on that. And then if you swing over to 7 and then jump down a little further, that's kind of Ryan's area,
Yeah.
across the border. And so we're close and we're situated in a very similar area. Um, but as Ryan just described, he had a hailstorm. We had some rain, but just mainly that a preview of the summer, swelter, with
Oh,
mostly cloudy, but a lot of sun beating on you, and a little bit of rain to steam stuff up, and then that's and today it's
we
58.
so we have a tree in our front yard. And I wasn't here for the storm. My daughter was, and uh, when I got home, the leaves from the tree were everywhere. I mean,
And
on
it's
on
late April. It is not
yeah,
September, October.
no, it was crazy. I'm gonna hang on a second
Oh,
because all right. So what are we talking about today? Um,
yeah, you'd brought something up sort of in our pregame, about well, if you remember, kind of it was a question that you had seen another creator pose, and
yeah.
I know we both have thoughts on it. I'm ready to jump on it myself, but why don't you get us in there?
Right. So I'm I'm not gonna read this verbatim or anything, but essentially the post said, uh, uh, if you're creating art just for you and you're not seeing sales or a lot of build in your audience, then you need to pivot. And uh, he kind of expanded on that, and there were people commenting like pretty much, yeah, you got to do what's popular and stuff like that. Um, and I I really took issue with it. Um, and I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, okay, so the way I took it when we talked about it before, was, why continue making your own thing if, it's not hitting or it's not connecting with the audience, so to speak. And I don't know what qualifications this person was putting on that themselves, but but I can flip that around. It's like, if you want to be a jobber, why do all this, basically visual cover songs to try to get the attention of the majors to the same result, or to a similar result? I won't say that that's the same result. Um, it can cut both ways, you know. You or I could have pages and pages of our own creations behind us and, get a sale, I mean, speaking for myself, um, get a sale infrequently, or I can have pages and pages and pages of tryout shit and an empty inbox, right? So,
Right.
so what is the dude talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hang on. Sorry.
I mean,
I was
end of the
fucking with
day,
shit.
do what you want to do. If that's what you want to do, um, and you're going for it, I'm never going to tell someone not to go for what they want. Go for it, 100%.
Yeah.
But we've had the conversation before. The job that I want in comics with the majors doesn't exist anymore, right?
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And
Right.
and challenge me, show me that I'm wrong. Um, and we can have that discussion, when someone else provides a more insight or evidence. But I don't, and we know some pros, and we know some people who are working on major comics at that level, and it's just not the job I want, to be honest. Um,
Yeah.
you know, so
Well, and yeah, no, I've never, well, at least since I was 14 years old, all I've wanted to do was my own stuff.
mhm.
And I really think you get your best work when you're doing something that you're excited about and that you're passionate about. Um, and I think what really made me think about this post that he put out there was, okay, why are you doing art? Is your goal to make a living and that's that's it? You love drawing and you don't care what you're drawing. Uh and that's all you're there for. And I get that, that's okay. But that's not me.
Mhm.
And when I want to look at the quote unquote end of my career, when I'm really just incapable of drawing anymore, that's going to be the end of my career as a cartoonist. I don't want to look back at a bunch of shit that I did for somebody else. I want to do what's passionate to me. I want to be able to go, here's my body of work, and I did this for me and nobody else. And so, I guess that's the philosophical question of that post. Are you doing it just for money?
Mhm.
Are you doing it just for the exposure or whatever? Or are you doing what is important to you?
Yeah,
Um, I don't want to say there's a right or wrong answer,
I don't think there
but I
is.
mean there is one for me,
Right.
and that's the that's the latter. I'm doing it for me.
Mhm.
Um, and if nobody buys it, and we talked about it a couple episodes ago, or maybe it was last episode. I did say, this isn't hitting and stuff. If it's not
Oh
going
yeah.
somewhere, maybe I need to rethink it and stuff like that. So I don't want to say I don't think about that stuff. Um, the thing is, though, if I did that, I wouldn't have looked at the, overarching comics industry and said, well, what's hitting right now? Okay, well, I guess I'll do a series about this now.
Mm,
No, I just would have done something else that was uh that I was just as passionate about,
yeah.
and seen if that worked. Um, but I mean, I guess, not everybody's like that, but the way I see it is I'd much rather do what I'm passionate about
Hmm.
and build that audience organically, and hopefully something comes out of that. It's all about my terms. I want to do it on my terms.
Yeah.
Is it harder? Yeah, for sure. I'm not doing fan picks of whatever superhero or TV show or whatever. You're
Mhm.
not going to see that from me. Um, so if the people that come to me and support me are the ones that are in it for what I'm doing, and I prefer that. You know, I'd much rather get to the end of it and say, "Yep, I did all of that on my own terms," not well, I drew a lot of pictures of Batman that got people here, and then they started reading my stuff. Um,
Yeah, and I mean, if you want to boil it down to, are you trying to make money with your art? I mean, if that is the goal, then what are you doing comics for?
yeah,
I mean, you can do art and make a lot more money with a lot more stable job in different industries by far. So if
yeah,
if your goal is making money, um, why comics? Why stop at comics, right? Um, and it's it people can chime in and say, well, I worked on this book for a while and it was the best, 3 years of my life, or, you know, I did some of my best work when I was, working with this publisher, or, whatever. I mean, people can say all kinds of things to, what we're presenting right now. But at the end of the day, this is what I want to do. You know, doing this book is what I want to do. And,
right.
if you dangle a carrot in front of me and say, "Hey, you like the work you're doing over here, but have you thought about, I think that work out really great if you did this Fantastic Four piece." I'd probably take the job, but that's not what I'm trying to do. That's not my motivation and purpose and end goal.
Yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, yeah, like I say, I mean, you can, keep busting out your demo pages, and
yeah,
then, we can circle back in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 20 years, and compare notes. And it's not
right.
a race or a competition, but when someone frames a question in that sense, and then maybe they are asking on a philosophical level, just to see where people's minds are. But I
I
think
don't think so.
I think it's a contentious. I think it's very contentious framing.
Yeah.
You know, um. So yeah.
Oh, I'll say this: the post was actually not posted as a question.
Mm,
It was
okay.
posted as a, if you're not getting this from doing what you love, then you need to do something that you don't love. Yeah, that's the way I took it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, you and I both do things we don't love. So why would we do something else that we don't love on top of
yeah, I
it?
know. And yeah, and that's yeah, I know. And it is I'm not sure the question was meant, or the statement was meant to be this big philosophical thing, but
Yeah,
you know, it
we're gonna make it into
definitely,
it.
well, yeah, no, because the so I've been thinking about this. We could kind of pivot into this. Um, this month has been a real soul searching month for
Mm,
me. We've talked about the Ed Piscor thing and stuff like that. And that uh incident has really got me thinking about the internet as a whole. How much do I enjoy this? Uh, uh, Having your identity so uh, fixated on this this thing, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and and here's the thing, I'm okay with that. I'm okay my identity being a cartoonist. But I started this year really just with with the mindset that it was going to be all about sacrifice and putting the work out. Um, you know, I just published the first collection of this year's comics plug, and
Link in the
you know,
description below.
it's 40 pages. That's all from January. Technically, I did more in January. I just released that comic in February. Um, and I'm proud of that. But I'll tell you what, I got to this month, and with all of this stuff going on, and I'm working on an 8-page story right now, and I get to Thursday, and my goal's usually Friday to put a story out. I've got like 6 pages left to do on a Thursday. So I've got to ink and color 6 pages in one day, which I can do. But that would have been my whole day from
Yeah.
waking up to going to bed. That would have been my day. And I said, I don't want that to be my day. And I know when I get to this is the kind of existential crises you have when you reach, you know, midlife. You know, I I don't want to get to the end of my life and not have had that balance,
Yeah.
because you know what's what's better that I have this huge giant body of work and go see what I did, or I get to the end of my life and my daughter goes, I remember that day we went out and we went shopping and we went out to eat and stuff, which is what I ended up doing that day.
Yeah.
And I still worked on the comic. I worked on a couple pages before she got out of school. And you know, and then we palled around until till that night.
Yeah.
Um and so I still want to have huge focus on my work. I'm still going to be a bit of a workaholic. I just know myself. But I do, and we've talked about the balance before.
Yeah.
Um but I think with uh all of the stuff that happened with Ed and the internet, and I I think it's a good idea for everybody to unplug for a little bit, for a long time maybe.
Hmm.
And I know that's going to be my goal moving forward, is, you know, not to say I'm not going to post stuff, but maybe post stuff and then kind of, you know, back off and do shit as I feel, you know.
Right.
And this is going back to what we were talking about first, doing things on my terms,
Hmm.
you know. So that first part of the year so far, yeah, I was doing things on my terms. I was putting out a shit ton of stuff. Now that I've done it, and I mean, I'm still planning on putting a shit ton of stuff out. Uh, but I I'm okay with doing stuff on my terms again and going, well, if I want to go hang out with my daughter, then put out a comic for free on the internet to get some followers, to get some views, which pays nothing. You know, what's more important?
Right.
You know,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that is.
and that's a danger of the internet. You know,
Mhm.
is because we care about those likes, we care about those shares, we care about the followers. We get that same dopamine hit from a like that you get when you get paid. That's
Right.
scientifically proven.
Yeah.
Uh, and in return, people have the same dopamine hit of spending money when they hit that fucking heart button. It didn't cost
Mhm.
you anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why. And so that whole system of especially social media is just it's sucking our souls, everybody. It is, and part of me is just really tired of dealing with that shit. I mean, we do that with this channel. We look at what's the best day to post, what time's the best time to post, when should I post shorts, when is,
Mhm.
um the comics and everything, I think we all need to be okay with just saying fuck it.
Yeah. You want to talk about like work life balance, and that's all good if you've got work and then you've got life outside of work. But people in our situation, you've got work and then you've got work, right?
Yeah.
And that's like compartmentalized into the comics that we make, the videos that we shoot, the work and the process that goes into the videos, and you know, publishing the comics, publishing, managing all that stuff, and then life. That's why it's, capital G grind. It's the never ending battle against the grind. And the grind encompasses this. The grind encompasses, sitting at the drawing table, at the tablet, whatever, and getting those things together. Um, whether we want to admit it or not, that's part of the grind, because the grind is whatever puts pressure on you as a human being, from being able to live fulfilled and happy and hopefully full life. Now there's overlap because doing comics provides some of that fullness to my life.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
Um, so I guess that can answer, Fuckface's question or statement, you know. Uh, yeah, okay. I do the comics even if no one reads them because I have to,
Yeah.
you know, because I have to. And let me just get a little bit more. I'm fired up though.
Good.
So if that question is posed from someone who's on a higher level, you know, like the question could, or the statement can make a little bit of sense, but I can't imagine anyone working professionally in any industry asking that kind of question. I can't imagine, James Hetfield from Metallica going, I don't understand why you guys, trying to play guitar want to play your own songs. You know, um, if no one's coming to see your band. If you're on that level and if you're just not a complete psychopath, that wouldn't come to your mind to even to say, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know who the person is, you do. Um,
Well, I
but
don't know this guy.
well, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Well, I
encountered
no,
him.
you're 100% right. That reminds me of I think this applies.
So
I just read a quote from Fat Mike of NoFX, and it was about Green Day and people accusing Green Day of being sellouts and posers and blah 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 blah. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Green Day plays the music that they want to play, and that got popular.
yeah,
They didn't change who they were to get popular. What they were doing got popular. And what And so, yeah, it does apply because what that post was saying was do the opposite. It was
Yeah,
saying fucking sell out and do this, you
right. You
know.
know, and
And when we can look at lots of different imitators and instances of people doing that. Very rarely does that work. Very rarely do I see that
dude,
working.
so here, let me offer this. So you fill pages and pages and pages, trying to conform to, let's say, Marvel's current house style, right? And I say this because there's someone in one of my
Is
circles.
that the boring? I think that's the name of the house style, right? Boring. Yeah, I got it.
So
Yeah.
and there's a person in my socials, and they're very talented. They're good. They're trying like hard. They're adding Marvel when they put their pages, and to me they're as good as anything published right now. Um, so you do that, you pursue that, and then all of a sudden the house style moves over here, and you've spent your energy conforming to this rather than doing. Now, I'm not saying that you're doing your own character, that you're doing your own story, you're writing your own shit. Um, but I'm saying you have been perfecting blending in with the wallpaper. And then that wallpaper all of a sudden is gone. There's new wallpaper. What are you
Right.
doing now?
Well,
Now
and
what do you
how,
do?
yeah. Well, and how many times have we seen that happen? I mean, for us, the obvious answer is the early 90s when we saw that happen, when all of a sudden the John Buscema's and John Burns and all these people from that era are seeing Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee
Mhm.
and Eric Larson and Todd McFarlane and seeing those styles and going, oh fuck, and it's completely different. And in some cases they tried to imitate that style.
Dude,
I
John
mean,
Romita
the
Jr.,
only
dude.
one,
John
the
Romita
only
Jr. I mean,
okay, the
uh,
only one for me, the only one that did it successfully was Mark Silvestri. I think people forget because they lump
yeah,
Mark
yeah.
Silvestri in with the image guys, right? Because he was an image guy,
Mhm.
but Mark was older than most of them,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and so
He kind of stands in the gap between,
right,
those two generations.
But look at Jim Valentino, though. Jim Valentino I think he's the oldest, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
He didn't really, that was his, yeah, I didn't really see him leaning more into Rob and
No,
stuff
no.
like that. Um, but there were plenty of artists that tried to, okay, well, I'm going to do all these
Dude,
pointless squiggles and crosshatches and stuff, and it looks like shit. It looks
well,
like shit.
on that topic, over on Comic Tropes, I mean, Chris had this great episode about Herb Trimpe, and
I was just
did you
thinking
see
of
it?
that.
Did you see it?
I
Yeah.
haven't watched it. I just saw the thumbnail,
Oh, you got to
and
see
yeah,
it
no,
because
yeah,
he is from that generation,
right, right, right.
and then you get in the '90s, and he's doing the cross hatching, and he's doing,
Yep,
the fade, and kind of keeping with the times, and
yeah,
it's a really cool episode. We're gonna shout you out, Chris. Got about 200 people. We're gonna send your way.
yeah,
but and that perfectly addresses like what you're talking about. I mean, not a lot of people can make those moves, can keep that relevancy as the styles change, that
yeah,
that are doing the mainstream stuff. I mean, that is,
yeah,
and we can, get down this rabbit hole, because I will challenge, if we have a time machine, any time travelers out there, go forward in time 30 years and tell me what current artists right now have come back, and they're heralded as, oh my gosh, and I don't even have a name, is doing Spider-Man again. You know, Man, they had their Spider-Man heyday, in the 2020s, and they're doing it again. That's awesome. But I tell you what, in 2021, when I see Ron Lim is on a new Silver Surfer a book written by Ron Friends, I'm like, give me that. And it was quality work and it was great work. You know. Um I I I hope I'm wrong because I want the comic book industry to be strong in the future, but I don't think there's gonna be a lot of room for, you know, uh these sort of dynasty creator names, you
I
know.
mean, to me, the biggest difference is if we're looking at artists back in the 80s and the 90s, when, especially the early 90s, when people were, working at the big two and making really good money off of royalties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, you had way more incentive to go, all right, I got to figure this out. I get that. For someone like Herb Trimpe, who's been going at it, doing work, and then getting to that point, he's got to keep it going. He's trying to feed his family,
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, we don't see that so much now. The comic industry is completely different. Um, and so that's where I'm just like, if you're like the vast majority of cartoonists who are either not making any money or making beer and pizza money
Mm.
or just, whatever, it's not their main gig. Why the fuck would you not do it because you have to and because you love it? Why would you change to do something different about it? Just I don't know. I don't know. That's just it's not me. I can't do it. I
Yeah.
I just I
And
just can't do it.
we're not saying there's not a good answer to that question. What we are saying
No,
is
there's
we don't
not.
know it,
It's a
you know.
personal question. You could be listening to this right now and go, Ryan, you're a fucking idiot. I'm gonna start drawing like blah blah blah, or I'm gonna start doing comics about I don't know. I don't even know what's popular. I'm old. I'm gonna start doing Fallout fan fiction.
What's popular are the creators from 30 years ago doing stuff again. That's what's popular.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
You know, I mean, Transformers, G.I. Joe, some of the highest selling books right now. You
yeah.
that's what's popular.
That's because 40-year-olds have money to spend
Yeah,
and
yeah.
nobody else does. I mean, that's why, you know.
Speaking of spending money, Ryan, as we get close to wrapping this today,
Yeah.
where can people spend their money in support of us?
So I've got a patreon.com/slackmatic. It's only $2 a month. Get all my comics as soon as they're done. I also have just released the Wizard Staff. This is 40 full color pages, collects all of my stories that were released in January online on horrible social media. You can go pick that up at my Etsy store. Along with the egg. I've still got the egg. I've got all sorts of shit over there. Go check me out. Levi, what do you got?
We got the big number one at my Etsy store. Now we're gonna end up fixing all this infrastructure stuff that needs addressing, but comics in the making at the moment, the Etsy store and the Patreon goes to me. So if you're not necessarily supporting Ryan, if you want to sign up, you got to do us both. Maybe we'll get to a place where we have some kind of combined effort thing, but that depends on you. So the big number one is there. The second issue of the big will be available coming up within, I would say, within 2 weeks. And I think I mentioned the Comics the Making Patreon. All the links are in the link trees down below. Support us, help this channel grow, share, like, subscribe, comment, tell us we're full of crapola and we don't know what we're talking about. That's fun. Or tell us how great we look on camera with our ring lights.
Check out the glare on my glasses. Check that out. Check that shit out.
Anyways, I feel pretty good about it, Ryan. You good?
I'm good. Just do the damn thing.
Hell yeah.